before I start anything, I believe all victims. I believe women. I stand with women. I want to preface that and get that out of the way so that you can understand my criticism and where it follows. This whole Cody Ko, Tana Mongeau situation has really brought out kind of the worst in a lot of people. Mind you, this started 5 days ago. D'Angelo Wallace released his video 5 days ago detailing the whole Cody Ko conversation about how he might have interacted with Tana Mongeau in a way that was inappropriate considering her age and his age. This whole thing, I believe women. That is my first stance on just that. I want to say that before anything. I have, as D'Angelo stated, there is just so much misogyny at play here. And right now, I personally want to get more frustrated with another creator because that was kind of the whole point that Cody Ko was trying, that D'Angelo was trying to say beforehand, that it is currently in the current creator sphere, commentary YouTubers are more so what are protecting or keeping some of the stuff under wraps. And then there's people who talked out of their ass. And that is my biggest frustration right now. Aside from like the perpetual misogyny that is being just unveiled here. I mean, obviously like people are misogynistic and this is something that are, like we just understand already. It is just so much more frustrating for me personally as a media consumer and someone who just always has been like in community with women to see that some women themselves are just not supportive. And I want to say just more so than anything, Brittany Broski's stance on this whole thing has frustrated me to no end. And it's more so, so follow me here. Brittany Broski has already gotten in some trouble for being relatively apolitical and not having too much of a stance. And while I do understand that there was this part where if you have seen that story circulating that said it was from her close friends, I want to cut that there. It is not from her close friend story. It was just a story that I think she posted on Instagram itself or just on TikTok on one of the other two TikToks that she has, or one of the other TikToks that she has, where she was talking about how I don't understand why you guys kind of want me, just someone who makes dumb jokes and everything, to be informed about the current state in the Middle East, you know, like the current political sphere, and for me to give a commentary on that. I do want to understand and like respect the part where it's like you don't have to use her as a figurehead for your politics. However, there is still such a thing as having a stance. Mind you, she is not apolitical. That is something that has been bothering me more so than anything. For starters, her whole point in this Cody Ko allegation thing, for some reason, she spoke up herself. She has been on their podcast twice or so. She spoke up and said, if these things are true, if the Cody Ko allegations are true, that already rubbed me wrong. That is not siding with women. That is not standing with women. That is not believing all victims. That is something that I believe she has said that she does or believes in. And her whole, anytime she's been on this podcast with anybody else or people ask her who they think her demographic is, she has always said the girls, gays, and theys. That already is a political stance in itself. Obviously, for people who are pretty left sphere, that is not something that sounds like very groundbreaking, but that already, like even acknowledging queer people or non-binary, that which is like, I guess, queer still, that is already something that is differentiating you from the right? That is still pretty a politically charged thing, and that puts you in a realm. And that is not standing with women. Not believing the victim before anything is not standing with women. Anytime she has been on a podcast with these men, first of all, I do want to clarify that she has like been probably more funny than them, but that is not anything. She has seemingly just tried to get in community with them, and this is just being no better than a man at this rate, because I'm like, if you even watch the video, it's like a 15 or less minute video by D'Angelo Wallace, you could see that there is pretty big grounds to be concerned about the situation. And I don't care if you like were friends with this man, that makes you even worse. Because if you watch the video, Cody Ko has a friend who has done pretty grotesque things, illegal things. And if you even watch that, you should already be concerned in aligning yourself with him. To even align yourself further in this case, to more so give credit to Cody and assume that the other person who brought up anything was lying. You stating that if these allegations are true, that is a very charged thing to say. If these things are true, is wrong. At the very worst, if you wanted to be apolitical, you could have at the very worst just stated that your condolences for Tana and you hope she's okay. That would have been being safe. But the thing is, I don't really get what you think you have to lose. You already have a sponsorship with Tinder, and you don't even have like an affiliate code. It is just a link that you have in there. You are not even like getting anything if they make a subscription with like Tinder Plus or anything. It is just you are sponsored by Tinder on your podcast. And aside from that, you already have so much to gain. If you have seen any other creators, be it, Amanda, or I was told by Kenya, not to throw them into this, but let a person of color do any of the content you have, and they would not have any of the opportunities you do. You are not losing anything. You already have a political stance. You have already been so very openly, like, distancing yourself from Christianity and, like, the beliefs that most Texan people have. And you are, again, acknowledging queer people and non-binary and other. You try to champion yourself as this person who is standing with the marginalized, and you don't care to be informed or be open about a stance on politics, and you don't care to side with women in something that is so horrifying and so commonplace. To think that you have said that you found comfort in someone like Jenna Marbles, and you have had people tell you now that you are just like their Jenna Marbles, you are their comfort person. To think you have, yes, you shouldn't be teaching people anything, but this is like a horrifying lesson in just how much you don't care, I think, because at the very worst, you could have cared, and you could have put out your condolences to Tana. Again, Tana is not doing this in any malice. She said, which is heartbreaking, proportionally to all the things that have gone wrong for her and the bad things that have happened to her, this is just not something she's too considering herself to be traumatized by, because she's been through worse, and like maybe she doesn't fully understand that this is something that's bad now, or it doesn't have a very visible traumatic response from this situation. It is still something that is probably in there somewhere for her. You have nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose from being apolitical, or from being political, or even taking a side, because you already have othered yourself from either Christianity or right-wing politics. And the thing is, you have opportunity that you do not understand, that other people who are actually marginalized don't. You have made your whole stake from pee-pee poo-poo humor. You have done burping, you have done farting, you are very open about talking about these like grossish things, these like dude bro-y things. So I'm like, this is humor for men. But also, when you talk to people and you are on these podcasts with men, that is not something that you try to credit yourself for. You consider yourself a person for the girls, gays, and nays. Almost every podcast I have seen you with, when they even talk about audiences, that is what you champion yourself. But this is aligning with men. This is aligning with bad men, and this is also just being dangerous for women. And it is daunting to me when you have people who are like, you have nothing to lose. I just don't, that is the part that bothers me the most. You have to have sponsorships with brands like Tinder, from when you cuss in all your videos, when you read smut that you do, when you even meet the celebrities you're reading the smut for. You have been on the Barbie pink carpet interviewing A-list celebrities. You have met Hosier. You have met Harry Styles. You have nothing to lose, and you are a coward. That is pathetic. I think that is nothing but pathetic. You already have basically a celebrity status, and you have done nothing but be grotesque, make burp a lot, make fart jokes, be pretty open about gross things, be uncouth. You cuss, you read smut, you thirst so openly over men, and you get to meet all these men, and you think, I know obviously I'm not like not to fill words for you, but you couldn't even align yourself with someone who is going through something traumatic, or even consider yourself someone who needs to care about the political climate in more impoverished countries. You cannot champion yourself. You cannot champion yourself as someone who cares about the marginalized and act like this. I just don't understand. There was like already troublesome things with Brittany, obviously, not like that big, but this is just daunting. This is pathetic. There is people who have not even affiliated with Cody Ko in any capacity, like Jarvis Johnson, who came out and made a statement regardless, because they were like, in the political sphere, or not in the political sphere, in the commentary sphere, I understand that people associate us. I have not even talked to that man. I talked to him once, maybe like 5 years ago, before the pandemic, when we planned to get coffee. That is it. We are not working together. We do not work together. I need people to understand that in the internet, we are commentary people, yes, but I don't know that man. We are not as close as we might seem to people who are seeing us as viewers. That was a statement. And they are also very sympathetic to the plight of Tana. because what is being described is pretty much very much a crime, very much illegal. And then considering what is shown on D'Angelo Wallace's video, there's pretty good track record to make it something that seems true. There is not really a chance for proof in this situation, though. This has been something that you can't pull from 7 years ago. This is just anecdotal. But with the things that are aligning as they do, there's more grounds for it to be true than not. It is just still allegation for the meantime, or it just might just end up as allegation, but the silence is still pretty damning, obviously, because if you aren't someone who did a crime, you could just say that and show it, but considering you're not even addressing it and hiding comments, this is Cody Ko, of course. Cody Ko, hiding comments, turning off comments, getting rid of subreddits, that is pretty damning. Not confirming of anything legal or illegal otherwise. It is not a true confirmation of what happened, but that is still, if you weren't someone who did something wrong, it'd be pretty easy to say I didn't do anything wrong. That's just the truth of it, you know? So just seeing someone, it is just so heartbreaking and worrying that you would care so much more for money or your stance, because I know you have a manager. You have said before you have managers and people who do these things for you because you don't want to do that work. So that's even worse. Like, you don't care. You care about your image, but your image isn't anything like that has any sanctity. You use pee-pee poo-poo humor and you're crass and you're thirsting over men. Like, nothing wrong with that. But I'm like, you're not like highbrow. So why does it matter if you, and again, Tana had said they had invited you to be a part of their podcast and you said no because you wanted to protect your image or something because being affiliated with her was wrong, but you side with Cody Ko? Are you kidding? What's the point? What do you gain? You have kind of nothing to lose, I guess, except all the opportunity you've already had. But your PR or your manager is doing a pretty bad job. Or maybe they should have stopped you from making a bad comment like that. Because at the very worst, at the very most politically neutral that you could have gone, would have just been extending your condolences or just keeping quiet because no one was probably asking you as thoroughly as you think. People who weren't even affiliated directly could disavow that stuff, and you didn't. And that is just siding with men. That is letting men escape and have these kinds of things. That is letting men who have done terrible things continue to do so because people don't like Tana. People don't like Tana. So why would they believe her, right? You could have extended just even sympathy for her, and you didn't. You sided with someone who already has a friend who is pretty awful. And that one is like something that people can find on police records. That is awful. And they're still close enough to be at their wedding. And you sided with that person. That's wild. That is pathetic. That is actually spineless. And it's also more concerning just because considering you were friends with people like Trixie Mattel, who, like, one of the marginalized, right? And Drew Afawalo, who is very vocally, proudly believe all women and siding with women and talking about destroying the patriarchy and all the ways that misogyny has affected women. And you are just here upholding it. That's pathetic. That's awful. Did you not learn anything from your peers? Do you not care to grow as an individual? It is just so horrifying because you hear and you hope that people are getting better, but you, a woman, stood beside a man? That's just pathetic. That's disappointing. And I don't respect it. And obviously you don't have to care if I do or not, but that's just something to think about. I couldn't be you. I wouldn't want to be. That's pathetic.